real lives. A spoonful of sugar that helps us with the medicine. And maybe they're right. Because what are the chances of anything turning out that perfect? What are the chances of love being everlasting?
Charles. Charles, please.
Or of any of us walking off into the sunset? Although one Mills and Boon writer in the 30s did use her earnings to help smuggle 29 Jews out of pre-war Germany. And I suppose that seems as good a happy ending as one could hope for in the real world.
What do you want me to do, Mary? I've lost my best friend. And now my bloody company if I can't find a way to buy out his shares. It's all I've ever had, Mary. You know, this company is the only bloody thing that I've ever had, and without it, I'll have nothing.
Am I nothing, then? Am Alan and I nothing?
What? No, of course not.
Well, that's what you just said.
That's not what I meant.
But that's how you make me feel, Charles. And I want to feel wanted. I need to feel like you want me.
But you are wanted.
Then why can't I feel it? Oh, good old Mary, always the practical one, always the one you don't have to make an effort with. Well, what about me, Charles?
I didn't know that you felt that way. Why didn't you say?
I have been saying. I have been saying and saying and saying in a million different ways since the day we met. You have never made me feel wanted.
Miss Bottomley, Alan Boon. I'm delighted to make your acquaintance. Please. My office is really only around the corner. What is the point of success if one isn't allowed to flaunt it? Champagne?
But I don't think it's the endings that are the problem. They're just all about straight people.
Oh, not this again.
Oh, yeah, but how can you read them?
Well, it's not supposed to be high literature. It's like a coded message in which women are able to
they're
express
books. How can you say it's not literature?
I brought you my essay. I wrote about what you suggested, heroes using force, so, yeah. You know, and I think the reason why these books have so many brutish heroes in them, it's because women can't be honest about what they want. I mean, okay, maybe it's society that stops them, calling women who enjoy sex sluttish or cheap, or maybe it's the women themselves censoring their own desires. But either way, these rape fantasies, or consensual force fantasies, because that's what they really are. I mean, the women always wanted too in the Mills and Boon books. This is a way around that problem, because this way, the heroine gets to have the sex she wants without the guilt she doesn't. Because in the end, that's all she really wants, is to be wanted. Not this lukewarm, indifferent, take it or leave it, but absolutely wanted. But she has to hide it behind a force fantasy, or being too old, or me being too young, or some bullshit cowardice about how passion wears off in the end, so what's the point in trying? Anyway, you good luck, Kirsty. You keep hiding if that's what you want, but I'm gone.
Mary? I'm sorry. It was funny. That when Gerald fell in love with Rose, he was afraid to marry her, and it was me that persuaded him to do it. Because I told him how happy we were. I told him that you were my rock, and my beating heart. And now I've made you unhappy.
I'm from your beating heart?
Of course. From the very first moment I met you.
You must remember to tell me sometimes. We do need to be told, Charles. Women need romance. You, of all people, should know that.
Mr. Boon. Mr. Joseph Henley's here to see you, sir.
What does he want? The bloody man's always popping up where you don't want... Ah, Joseph.
Mr. Boon, sir.
Look, this really isn't a very
I'd
good
like to
time.
buy into the company, sir. I've got the money to buy out Mr. Mills's shares. I inherited it from my grandfather last month.
Well, are you sure? Oh, good God, man, this is excellent news! Brandy. Lizzie, bring us the brandy! Now, I've just been talking to Mary and she's absolutely right. We must focus on the romance novels. There will always be a market for those. So, I've decided, into the future, all our eggs in one basket, a single genre publishing house. We're stupid not to see it before. Women need romance. She really is a wonderful woman, my wife.
Charles.
So, how shall we do it? We need to get the papers drawn up, of course. And of course, we need to withdraw his share from sales. Have we got those funds available now?
I decided if you can't beat him, join him. Seeing as my life seems to be turning into one of these anyway. So, I'm not saying forever. And I'm not saying happy ever after, but a day at a time. And a little bit of sex.
A lot of sex. I'm 23.
Well, then, I can see I'm going to have to teach you everything I know.
So, Janet, now we've agreed on Dear Dr. Steele, can I take it you're happy to leave your other employment and write for us full-time?
Oh, well, I have to look after my mum, see, so...
I believe you'll find your royalties quite sufficient. Here is your advance check, which represents just a small fraction of what you'll earn from this title.
Oh, my goodness. Oh.
May I ask if you settled upon an idea for your next book?
Well, actually, no, you see, the idea for my first came from the hero, and...
Ah, and, is there no other man you can find on who to base your hero?
Oh, well, actually, there might be. Oh, and I'd like to change my name. I shall call myself Raquel. Raquel Pretty.
To Raquel Pretty. Now, if you'll excuse me, Raquel, duty calls. But you must stay as long as you please and drink in the fruits of your labor. Please see the lady has anything she may request.
Oh, yes, actually, sorry, could you... Do you have a pen?
Certainly. Thank you.
The man clicked his fingers brusquely. More champagne, waitress, he barked. Ravina pursed her lips in annoyance. He really was unbearably arrogant.
I wonder who wrote the book of love?
Next tonight on BBC4, we join Alan Yentob as Imagine plots the life of a love story from conception to maturity, with a helping hand from a few of the classics.
Who wrote the book of love?